Call of Duty, throughout the franchise's run, has been known for spreading many positive messages, such as raising awareness for the environment, that the Russians are always the bad guys, and that diversity is truly a strength. Today, we take a look at the latest installment of this franchise, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Even though this is just a beta here that I'm playing on, I feel there is enough within this beta to have a solid say on the game. Obviously maps and guns and other stuff is going to be in the main game, but it's obviously not in this, but I feel there is enough within this beta to be able to have a say on it.
We lost Charlie. Securing Alpha. All points are ours. Give them. Enemies taking Alpha. We have taken control. Allied troops at one.
Yeah, it's 135 and 100.
We lost 8.
Call of Duty, the franchise as a whole, has always had one major advantage over the other first-person shooters out there. And that major advantage, that big strength that it's always had, is its simplicity. It has good controls that aren't too complex. Call of Duty is one of those games that you can just pick up and start playing there and then, after a hard day at work, a hard day at school, or a hard day at college. You can just pick up and start playing it there and then with your mates. Or you can just play it on your own, if you have no mates like me.
They have 2. Retake those objectives. Allied UAV overhead. Securing Bravo. Captured Bravo. Allied UAV overhead.
It's not large scale like Battlefield, it's not too tactical like Rainbow Six Siege, and it's not too over the top or too cartoony like Fortnite, for the most part. There is a lot of division when it comes to innovation in Call of Duty, but I don't feel a game has to innovate too much to necessarily be a good game. Sometimes keeping things simple can be the way forward, or at least that's what I believe. And I feel that this game is aware of that. They know that they should focus on keeping the core fans of the Call of Duty franchise satisfied, and that is why I actually like Call of Duty this year. I'm actually excited for when this game comes out, believe it or not. I believe they've changed enough, but not changed too much to the point where it becomes a completely different game. The few guns that we actually had access to in this game I felt were actually really good, though I felt a couple of them were in balance, some more powerful than others. I felt that the guns were okay. One thing I actually liked about them was the fact that they actually felt and sounded like real guns, unlike previous Call of Duty games where guns actually sounded more like toys or BB guns or something like that rather than actual firearms. In this, they actually sound like actual guns, or more like actual guns.
Allied UAV overhead.
I feel that the maps have also been changed quite a bit as well. I've heard a lot of criticism towards the maps in this, maybe being too big, and in some ways I could argue, yeah, they have a point, but that could be down to my incompetence and running around with a shotgun, when I should have perhaps been using a sniper or an assault rifle, but that's just me and my incompetence. I feel that the maps are quite different in this game this year. They're not the typical 3-lane maps that you'd usually get on your typical Call of Duty. They have instead changed the maps up a bit. You can climb on a lot more stuff, there's a lot more secret passageways and ways you can flank enemies and all of that kind of stuff, and it can make games have that little bit more suspense, which I believe is a good thing.
UAV is ready for flyover. Need backup at Bravo. Cruise missile ready to launch. That makes 2. The advantage is ours. We are in command here. Allied missile launch. Losing B. Enemy has Bravo.
Obviously with this game they are going back to its roots. Infinity Ward is going back to its roots with the Modern Warfare. I believe going back to what made the franchise great is the right thing to do. With all the new stuff they've been doing not really working out, people not really caring for it, the best thing you can do is just go back to the drawing board and go back to what brought fans in to begin with, and that's exactly what they seem to have done. There are a couple of minor negatives that I had with the game, but these could be down to the fact that it's a beta and can be fixed a bit later on perhaps, but I did have some issues with it. For example, I thought some of the light, it was a bit dark in some places, so you couldn't see enemies all that well, so if they were camping in a corner you couldn't see them. I felt that the spawns were kind of annoying as well. There were a lot of instances where I'd spawn right in front of an enemy and I'd get killed again. There were also instances where, you know, there was a lot of campers in the game as well, but that's not necessarily the game's fault. That is more down to the fact that camping is just part and parcel of Call of Duty these days. It's been in every COD. If you ask me, it's just something that you need to get used to at this point. Now, if there is one thing that I believe could truly, pull down this game, bring down its potential, that one thing is the supply drops. Now, we know at this point that there are going to be supply drops within Modern Warfare. They've been in every other COD that they've brought out over the last 5 or 6 years, so it is expected that they're going to bring them in this one as well. Now, I believe that if they keep the supply drops cosmetic, it's just outfits, gun camos and, reticles and all that kind of stuff, it won't necessarily be a problem. It will become a problem, I believe, however, if they choose to start putting, exclusive guns in the supply drops that you have to pay for. The worst possible thing that they can put in these supply drops is things that can give players an advantage over others, because then it essentially becomes a pay-to-win game. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that though, with the fact that they've been putting weapons in supply drops in all of their games, so I'm not really going to hold my breath on that, but it would be very preferable if they did not. Overall, talking about this game, it's your typical Call of Duty. It gives you what you want if you're a big fan of Call of Duty. If you're a core fan that's been into Call of Duty for years, like I have, you're going to like this game. If you wanted a game that's going back to what made Call of Duty great, I feel that this game has the potential to do that. Whether it actually turns out good or not, we can't really have a say at this moment, but from what we've seen in this beta, things are looking up, at least to me. This is at least the best COD that we've got over the last 5 or 6 years, at least if you ask me. But overall, people, be sure to let us know what you think about Call of Duty Modern Warfare down below. What are your opinions on this upcoming game? Are you going to get the game when it comes out? Be sure to let us know what you think about this down below, alright? Alright gentlemen, this has been Lord Flashheart. Be sure to rate, comment, favourite, share and subscribe, and I will see you again. Cheerio!